tell by the set where I am today? I'll tell you at the end of the video. But onward. Today I'm going to do a tag called the Milky Way book tag. I was tagged by Amy at AStar Reads. It's by Handpick Blog. Amy tagged me about a month ago, and that's pretty much how I'm running in terms of pacing here. I wrote the answers down like a good 3 weeks ago, but it's taken till now to film and edit and upload. So there we go. This is a great tag. I was very excited when she tagged me in this one. So we go through all the planets, which is timely because I just did the Luminaries book review discussion with Brittany at Literarily Smitten. So we're keeping the theme going. I didn't even plan that. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, so extra oomph today, which is good because I just had lunch and I'm feeling eh. So, starting with prompt 1, Mercury, the loneliness theme, a book with the theme of loneliness. For this one, I put Sea Room by Adam Nicolson. This is one of my, I don't know if I'd say favorites anymore. It's been long enough that I don't really remember the book. It's probably like 7 or 8 years. And it's about a man in England who is going back to the Isle that his forefathers had a much more close relationship with. He talks about the Minch, he talks about the Hebrides, he talks about a different way of life. He sort of meditates on being on an island, having no one else be there, so definitely qualifies for loneliness. Prompt number 2, Venus, set in a hot climate. And for this one, I'm doing a recent classic that I read with Rainer of Rainier Books, A Passage to India by Forster. So this one is one of the books that I read for March of the Moderns a few months ago, and it is set entirely, I believe, yes, in India, and was a great read. Good classic. I think I've read one other Forster, but this was a good way to expand. There were some slow parts, but the action and the commentary were worth it. So there you go. Prompt number 3, Earth, multiple points of view. I thought that was a great matchup there. For this one, I put Firebird, which I also recently discussed with Brittany because I thought she might like this one. She's obsessed with Russia. I'm obsessed with Scotland, and Firebird is part of Susanna Kearsley's related series where it's not necessarily need to be read in order, but there are characters that relate. It is a dual timeline. You have complications because, at least in the Firebird, the character that you start in the mind of is someone who can touch objects and feel their prior history, and so there's a little supernatural in there. And Firebird is like a thing that she's trying to trace through history and prove that it's true. So you're in a present timeline and a past timeline, and also like sort of a weird mix of the two from the mind melding. So it was just so good, and I love Susanna Kearsley's writing, so that's a great one. Prompt number 4, what comes after Earth? Mars, a book that had potential but didn't deliver. And I guess we're going with this because we've had missions to Mars and they haven't really amounted to much yet. I don't know. If it takes care of Jeff Bezos for us, hey, I will be thanking Mars. And for this one, I had Emotional Load because, as I recently reviewed in my May wrap-up, Emotional Load was a big graphic novel by Emma, the French graphic novelist, and she had 2 in a series, and I think what I was really wanting to look at was Mental Load, her first book, but the bookstore that I went to, Backstory Books, only had the second one on hand for some reason. She's a used bookstore. It's Amanda. She has a used bookstore. She picked this one as an attention getter, but not the one before, so I don't know why. But yeah, it was a little left of center in terms of not exactly what I was looking for in terms of the research and the theories to prove, so I'll have to go back and get the earlier book. But for the meantime, this will be going on my treasure troves list. Oh, okay. Yes, treasure troves. Stay tuned. I'm going to make an announcement at the end for that too. All right. So that was Mars. Prompt 5, Jupiter. A chonk I enjoyed. Guess what this one's going to be? So at the time I wrote this down, it was a question mark. But now it is the luminaries, because I definitely enjoyed it. It was like sitting by while you watched a masterclass of precision and complexity and just delight. So I really enjoyed reading the luminaries, and you'll have to check out our video to see Brittany's opinion. Oh, The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. Right. Question number 6 is Saturn, a book that got a lot of attention and you enjoyed. A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Tolls. I don't know how to say that exactly. It's a very popular book club book. I read it for the historical fiction book club at another read-through bookstore when I got to manage that, because that was awesome. And why did I enjoy it? The brief synopsis is that because of political turmoil, this man is subjected to house arrest, and he lives in a room at this grand hotel. So he is forced to stay in this grand, huge block long building for like 30 years. And basically it's from his early arrest to how he copes and the friends he makes and his life and sort of what little drama comes to pass. And it's a lot about human nature and finding hope in hard situations and friendship. And I really liked it. So definitely recommend that one if you've been scared away by the hype, as I usually am. Or as Brittany is, hype scares her away. What is it? I can't remember her tagline that she had about hype. Hype gives her hives. That's right. This is a good one, and I'm sure she's read it. All right, prompt number 7, Uranus. A book with an embarrassing title that you've read. And I couldn't think of books with embarrassing titles. It seems sort of a strange one, so I picked Under the Tuscan Sun because I was embarrassed to read it because the movie was so awful. But then the book turned out to be really good, so that was a switcheroo. So definitely recommend Under the Tuscan Sun by not Frances Mays. And the author will be on the book cover when I put it up. Question number 8, or prompt number 8, after Uranus, is Neptune. A book that gives you chills. Sorry, my phone is behind there and it's like blowing up some reason during this recording. I know. Here's one that I buddy read with someone before I even got on BookTube. So while I was working at another read-through bookstore, I worked alongside Neil, and Neil and I read Bellman and Black, which is one of, 13th Tale and Once Upon a River. That author, also on the cover that I won't be able to think of right now. And we did like a radio podcast episode talking about our different readings of it, and it was just great. I wish that store was still open and we still had a reason to hang out. So, Neptune. And the last prompt, Pluto. A book that doesn't get enough credit. Does Pluto not get enough credit? I don't know about that, but for this one, I said one of my other March of the Moderns reads, Precious Bane. That one is by Mary Webb. I'll also put that one up in the cards for March of the Moderns. And that one I read with Marissa of Blatantly Bookish, and we both really liked it. The basic synopsis, if I can try to do this again, is that a girl with a hairlip is growing up and experiencing life in 18th century rural Western England, like on the border with Wales, and how life treats her and how she responds, basically, in this small town with its very limited opportunities and how she grows. And I really liked it, and I don't think many people have heard of it. I think it's a very niche read, but I think if you're looking for something relaxing and sweet and certainly dramatic, certainly symbolic, certainly engaging with emotions, but also with like that kind of, let's see if I could do this, for the thumbnail, that kind of ending, then Precious Bane would be an interesting pick, I would say. So there you go, there's the Milky Way tag, and I'm going to tag Tracie Momie Reads, my author friend on BookTube, potatobrarian Amy over on the foodie / dark channel, and Alba at Seriela, because I haven't seen her lately, and I figure she needs a tag, like a little nudge to come back in. When, of course, the power is back on in Puerto Rico, because I saw the headline that the week after it was privatized, the national power plant had a fire, and they're out of power again. So that is unfortunate. But sending love out there, and thank you, Amy, for tagging me in this. Thank you guys for watching and commenting, and I hope I gave you some good recommendations. These were almost all like great reads, except for a couple prompts that were bad. So, oh, okay, and so for the announcements, here is San Luis Obispo. This is like childhood bedroom territory. And Treasure Troves. This post is going to be the one to comment on for me to pull for the drawing next week. So if you go to Instagram, I'll have stories, highlights, and I'll put the pictures of the treasure troves that are up this month for people to say, yes, I like that one, and comment on this video. And then you're entered along with all my patrons to win one of those little bundles. So hopefully that makes it a little fun, and will be a surprise for somebody come the end of June. Okay, thanks everybody.